All right, guys. I keep thinking I'm organized, and I'm not as organized as I want to be. How's everybody this evening? Let's see. Let me get a hold of this thing that I wanted to show everybody. Sorry. All right. So what I've been working on since we last saw you is the schedule for next year. Um, and I just want to, of course, talk about. I don't have a list or anything. I need to prepare for these a little bit more. But usually after a show, if you guys don't know, what I do is I usually take Mondays off, and I know we have a show this Saturday in Kissimmee, and we'll bring that up here in just a moment. And then I'm going to talk about Osceola Heritage and future shows and all of that stuff. So that's this Saturday. It is a tired Tuesday. Oh, okay. Evening, everybody. Congrats on your Deadpool. Yeah, you know how that happened, Tony. Thank you for the thing on the Deadpool. Why am well? Whenever I yeah, that this is weird. Okay. They changed this on me. So normally when I add the graphic and then I take it off, it automatically brings me back to being big, which it didn't do this time. Hey Mike, yes, definitely. It was really sad to see Tom. I'll talk about Tom here in just a moment, actually, since you brought him up. Just let me get one more graphic on my side updated, and that way I can share it with everybody. I did forget to save it, and then I was talking to my wife about the schedule and buildings and stuff. So 26, and we're gonna show that. So just give me a moment. Thank you for coming on here, Tony and Mike, and anybody else. We're gonna get moving here in just a moment. Just gonna make sure I've got everything. All right, so hopefully everybody enjoyed their weekend. We were in Jacksonville, and I think it was, considering attendance wise, it was pretty good. I mean, I think the show, we had a little bit of, honestly, I wish we had a little drop off of a couple vendors. Let me just, sorry guys, I should have done this before I started. I'm trying to bring you guys the 26 schedule plan because that's what I've been working on all day. So I want to show it to you guys here, and I will come back to that. Okay. So all right. So Jacksonville. We had a great crowd. Not quite as many, right, Lisa, as last year at the same time. Maybe about 60 or so less. Yeah. Somewhere in there. But we did have Fanboy going on, and I'm sure a lot of people went to Fanboy. I know we had vendors that went to Fanboy. I don't know. I should do a little trivia in to see if anybody knows what's missing back there that I sold to our friend Dewey. I'm sure you won't know what it is, so I'll just tell you. Their Ghostbusters house is gone. The firehouse is gone because I had it up in Jacksonville, and I decided. And Dewey Sean wanted it. I didn't sell it, for cash, but we did a trade. I don't have that piece that I traded, but it was a cool Back to the Future banner that he had at the show. So we had a pretty good show. That is going to be the last time that we're at the Embassy Suites. The hotel itself is I really like the hotel itself, like the rooms and the the lobby area and all that. And we tried to do a lobby swap up there, but it's kind of I don't know, something has changed up there. The management changes every time we book it, And the reality is that it's just too small. Okay. It's not quite as big as Kissimmee even for this weekend. And we are at the point of we're at the point of where I'm not looking for spaces that are under 10,000 square feet, basically. So, the goal for me now is to find spaces that are 10 to 15,000. That's what I think is a sweet spot for our shows. Um, and then, the other thing too, is that, I'm also realizing that I have to be, I need to work harder a little bit to get, we're doing so many shows that, sometimes we have too much of one thing. And I want to try to, not do that. But it's kind of the way it is. It's been a weird month or so, for me. And so, anyway, so what I'm saying is that I'm in full 2026 planning mode. This weekend we're in Kissimmee, and that is Saturday, underlined, like you see it here, underlined. October 4th, Saturday, October 4th, we are in at the Osceola Heritage Park. And okay, and I'm going to tell you guys something really kind of weird. So the thing with Osceola Heritage Park. Okay, I love the building, and they've always been really really good as far as setup. I mean, I think the last time we set up, I had to move tables around. I was freaking out a little bit, but in general, they've been very very good. In fact, I want to say that they were the only location where I didn't have to move around anything when I first started. And we started there 5 years ago, in 2020. Okay. Sorry to hear that there, Tony. Hopefully you'll be in for Tampa, which we're going to talk about here soon. Okay. I'll talk about Avanti here in a minute. I appreciate you, Daniel. I appreciate you bringing that up. We'll talk about Avanti. That also makes me want to bring up the actual current schedule. So let me do that. But I'm just let me focus on this weekend, and you're gonna see another graphic come up, and I'm gonna say, yeah, I don't like how they've changed this. Okay, all right. So anyway, with the Osceola Heritage Park. Okay, now we've been there for 5 years. So, and the same lady, it's the same person. I guess it is a lady. So the same person is the booking agent from when I started 5 years ago. It's very unique. Okay, everybody else at every other venue has flipped as far as working there. So she knows me, she knows pretty much my dates that I'm going to have. So, and so, I said, so today I said, hey, I'm going to want March dates for next year. Okay. Like you see, I have here on this page, Kissimmee, March 7th. That's our normal. This is planned shows. So March 7th, I'm thinking she knows I'm gonna hit her with the dates, right? Same dates, but this time I wanted to go to a bigger room. Now, in this case, this time we're not in the bigger room yet, okay? And the reason why that is because I didn't want to charge you parking, the customer's parking. All right? So what happened was I had contacted her and I said, hey, I want to go to the larger space. They said, okay, we have the left side available. That's about 23,000 square feet. Okay. And I'm like, okay, no problem. Let's go ahead and do it. They charge me for security. They probably will have a bag check in the front, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. And then I also need to have a full setup day for that amount of space. Okay. But, we got enough vendors that want to do Kissimmee. to go ahead and cover it. Okay. So I went ahead. So then she tells me, well, if you go to the bigger space, we're going to charge parking, which is now $15 in Kissimmee at the Osceola Heritage Park. Okay. So I was like, no, we're just stay where we're at. So this weekend we are in our normal Kissimmee room, the smaller room. It is the last time that I'm planning on being in that room unless we do something else. Okay. Because I am thinking about moving Star Wars there. So no issues with the facility. It's a nice building, everything. But I think we're at the point where we need to be in the bigger space. And that was the plan for the spring. So what does that mean for the schedule? Well, that means that we won't be doing March 7th because it's booked. So when I went to ask her about next year, basically the building is already booked up, both spaces. I can get one. It sounded like I could get one day, but I couldn't get a setup day. So I don't know. But basically it's not available. And the next time that it is available is my other date, which is May. That's the next date that Osceola is available. So I've kind of plugged this in here on this schedule that I'll show you here in a minute. But yeah, this is the way they've changed this. I don't like. So anyway, so again, this weekend parking should be free. I haven't been told anything else. There is another event. I don't know what it is. I haven't paid attention. I mean, it could be a card show. I have no idea. Okay. I know there's something in the back there. Okay. We're in the front where we've been for probably the last 2 years in the front. So it's a smaller space, which means the vendor space is sold out. We are going to have some people in the hallway, that would be overflow, but I am maxed out. I have no space. And I know that I need to go to a bigger space, guys. Okay. But it just wasn't available. It was available, but I didn't want, I don't like, I don't like it when there's parking at all, but when there's parking that costs more than it is to get in the show, that's even goofier to me. Okay. So anyway, okay. So we will be, we're in Kissimmee, this Saturday from 9 to 4. And so that's this weekend. This Saturday, I'm just trying to think if I want to go back to Jacksonville or not. The only thing I'm just trying to think if I would change anything. Not really, other than we got to be in a bigger building. We can't do these smaller spaces anymore. Okay, Mario, no, Cass. I contacted Todd directly, and he hasn't gotten back to me. Someone said they called Kaz, and they said no. They're just buried down there again. I don't know what's going on, but I expect them to probably be in Tampa, but I don't know that for sure. So hopefully they are in Tampa. So, but thank you for asking, Mario. No Kaz in Kissimmee right now. Let me go ahead and go through a couple things, and then I'm going to do a little bit more on Kissimmee this weekend, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about our schedule going forward in just a moment. And let's see. Again, I want to give a shout out to Tom Wilson here. Thank you, Mike, for posting, and Margaret. Tom Wilson recently passed away. He was, for lack of my information, okay, guys, he was the person that ran and maybe helped create a Hot Wheels show that they have the third Sunday of the month. I think that's right, at the VFW over there in Goldenrod Road, where we have the Star Wars show for the last few years. He was a really nice guy. Always supportive of me, even when I started, even before I started. Just was a great all around guy. I had my own thing at the beginning. Like, I always told him, you should be charging more for tables, etc. He didn't want to make money. And I thought, hey, just donate the money. Okay. And the reason why I did that, but at the same time, he was always supportive of me. But my reason for that is that when a Hot Wheels guy that came from his show, they would come to my show, because the VFW is a special event, and they have a special deal, okay, on the rental of that space. And so it's probably the cheapest building in Orlando. Okay. They have a special deal for the Hot Wheels guys. And so he's just passing the cost on to you can't rent a building in Orlando for what they rent the Hot Wheels Hot Wheels space. But what would happen is I would want to have, Hot Wheels people at my show, and, I'm paying real money here. Okay. I'm just going to throw out a number. Let's say you can't really rent a space in Orlando for under $3,000 now for the day. That would be a really small space. Okay. And so, the numbers don't add up if you're only charging $20 a table. So you would have to, that just doesn't add up. So my point is that vendors, when they would come to me and they'd say, hey, I want to get a table at your show, and I'd be like, well, it's whatever it is, even $75, they were just like, what? That's too much. Well, that's because you don't understand the market. You're used to this price. So anyway, but I always I try to get him to donate the money. But anyway, he was a great guy. He was a great guy. Again, very supportive. Just the whole time. I remember one time when we had my first show we had down the street here at Knights of Columbus. It was 2,500 square feet. That was in August of 2019. And I remember Frank, who doesn't live here now, was there, and he was part of the Hot Wheels show. And I think Margaret was there at the first show too. Anyway, we called up Tom and said, hey, can I have a show there? And he goes, no, hell no. You'll ruin our, the VFW will get mad we'll have no parking and all this stuff. I mean, I only did one show and he was saying that. So we didn't have anything there. So we never had a show there until we did Star Wars. So I do want to, hats off to him, man. And again, that's Tom Wilson over there. Unfortunately, him and his wife have passed away in the last year or so. Man, it's just amazing. She was a wonderful lady too, over there. Okay. All right. So let's talk next about Avanti. Avanti, I'm going to try to go back there maybe. I'm not 100% sure. Now on here, I had July 11th. Okay. This is from last week, or this is the printed flyer that we put out, and it'll actually be put out probably this weekend. I may reprint these. I don't know. I guess I got to think about it, but because some of the dates are wrong already. But okay, so I had planned on going back to Avanti on the 10th of January, and I still. But what happened is every year, I would say every year again, the Avanti management has changed. Okay. And so I had the lady in June, when we were done with the show in June, I had asked her for a date, and she sent me a contract. Now, dummy me, this is my bad. I didn't send her back the contract right away because I have other shows that I'm working on. And I thought, hey, she works there. She knows I want the date. I'm not going to, she's got me, and then she'll contact me if there's an issue or whatever. Well, then she left, right? So then the lady is calling me about 2 weeks ago and says, hey, in the last week, actually, hey, do you have a contract for this date? I'm like, oh, yeah. That's part of why I was moved Daytona too, because I realized, wait a minute, I'm supposed to be at Avanti on the 9th. So then I signed it and sent it back to her, and then they basically bumped me. They said, no, we're not going to honor this. We can't sign this because we've sold the date to somebody else now. So no, we're not going to be at Avanti on the 9th. But I'm going to try. I still want to try and get or the 10th. I'm sorry. I still would like to get an Orlando show on the 10th, but we'll see if that happens. I'm working on that. Okay. All right. So that's the Avanti thing. So we might be there in June. But right now I'm working with Doubletree and another Disney area hotel. I'm waiting for pricing from them because I'm gonna see if we can. I want to do something different, okay? Because Osceola is not available when I want, and neither is Avanti for January. So I was a little upset with the lady that she did that to me, but so that's how I roll. Okay, hey Diana, thanks for coming. Hope to see you later in the week. It'll be I know you guys are retired, but you can hang out with us on Saturday and sell some toys. All right, and Jennifer, thank you for coming out on Sunday. Hopefully, we'll see you at another show soon. Was she coming out this Sunday, Saturday? I don't think so. And Jonathan, hey, what's up? Thank you for coming out. What is this? $1 and some envelopes. I missed something. Okay. Hell yeah. Toy King. That's right. There you go. That's my hat. I made these little hats. Okay. Thank you for coming out. Okay. Yeah. And Jeff said, Mikado, we missed you there this weekend. I know you made lots of money up there at Jolanta. So, don't run off. We still need you here in Florida. All right. Okay, so let me go and talk about, let me quickly stay on Kissimmee, and I'm going to just go ahead and share, I think I'm going to share some pictures from an older show, and then I'm going to go over the schedule or my proposed schedule anyway. And okay, I think this was our show in March 2024. So this is what the building looks like. Oh man, I still have that case and that car, of course. Okay. Sorry, these are my own pictures I took. There's our buddy Fuino. He'll be there this weekend. Ray and the guys will be there. Who else? Let's go through a couple pictures here. Okay, we got Gil, and we'll have Butch. Here's Mark. Wow, he probably wishes he had all those turtles still. Let's see. All right. And then we will have Bill back. We're not closed. We're not closed. All right. Who else? Okay, and we'll have Joe. We haven't seen Joe since February, I think. No. May. So Joe Lanasso will be back with his games. Let's see. There's a hiss there. Okay, and then I think Bakeem will be there again. And then we got Abby Mel. Okay, and then these are, let me see. Sorry, guys, you might see some pictures that you don't care about here. I'm just going to see if this is the room that we'll be in this Saturday. Okay, I think those are like copies of that. Okay, no problemo.
You got some comments.
All right, let me go ahead and yeah, of course he probably will, he's talking about Bill with the little bullhorn, I think. Yeah, he'll.
Well, Jeff was asking about late November shows.
Oh, okay. Late November shows. No. Famous Davis, the wrestler. Give me a break. Okay. All right, let's see. Late November shows. Okay, so no, what we're gonna do is You'll see that we're ending on November 9th. I did try to book a show for November 15th, but it just in several places, and it just didn't work out. Um, and then I also did try to rebook Coco for like November 23rd or something, because we got a little bit of a gap. I did try to book that, but that didn't work out. They're booked, and then they do have the weekend of basically Thanksgiving weekend open. I just think that's a bad weekend. So we're gonna skip and we're gonna try this Santa's gift show. Okay, on the 21st. That's 4 days before Christmas. I think this should be a 2 day show, but I'm gonna go ahead with 1 day. Okay, and that's the gift show is I just it's something different. I know it's kind of an experiment, guys, but the reality is I do think that we're gonna get people. The idea of the show is to have some packaged it's gifts, okay, packaged toys. So you missed a decent amount, actually. You missed how much money we made at our show on Sunday. No, just kidding. But yeah, but no, so yeah, so the gift show I want to have gift wrapping at the show. I want to have, something where you got not just toys, collectibles, but also stuff, so that people can come in and get like last minute gifts. Back in the day when you went to the mall, you'd have all kinds of different stuff that you could get, on those carts and everything. And I mean, it doesn't seem like they do that anymore, but, that's all right. So, okay. And so that's going to be the end there, but this is the current proposed schedule based on my knowledge and feedback from hotels as of today. And again, you'll see in January, we're gonna so because we're gonna be, okay, this is the current schedule for the rest of the year. You'll see here we're gonna be at Lake Worth on November 9th. Normally we would be in January, we're gonna be on the second Sunday of the month. We would be back at Lake Worth. But what I think is what we need to do is we need to I don't know if that's a great plan. So Coral Springs said that they have an opening, and yes, I know that Mark and Jason and a couple other people won't be able to do this show because there's another show in Daytona area that is going to suck up this date. But anyway, that's okay. Yeah, Jennifer, I'll send out this schedule to some people that want it. Okay, so but this was a good show, and I think that it is. I can't do like West Palm and Coral Springs in one weekend, so I think I'm gonna just try to book this. I was told by the hotel that this is open, so I'm gonna try to close this out. Now the next date that I have up now, what I'd like to do, I still want to put a Orlando in here, okay, somewhere is what I'm hoping, but I don't have any leads right now on that. And then we're going to be in Fort Myers, and then Daytona, and then our normal show that we've been doing several years in Space Coast, okay, at the convention center over there right behind the Holiday Inn. And then we'll be in Bradenton or Sarasota. Now, why does this set? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we need volunteer gift wrappers, or they'll get a prize or gift, or maybe get paid. I don't know. Okay. Okay. So why does it say Bradenton or Sarasota? So it turns out that the municipal auditorium is being taken over by it was run by the city, but it's being run by this other consortium thing. And they're going to be doing renovations. I already thought they had started the renovation, but the municipal auditorium is going to be closed from April sometime this year all the way till like the next April or something. in 27. So from April 26 to April 27, they're going to be closed, doing redoing the roof, interior, all this stuff to that building that looks like the Hall of Justice. They said that they had May 1st. Both Bradenton and Sarasota said they had May 1st or March 1st available. Normally we do a 2-day show in Sarasota, so this could change to a 2-day show. You're going to see that I'm going to stick mostly with 1 days, but I've got a new concept that I'm going to be doing with 1 days and 2 days that I'll talk about next week, because I'll have a little bit more time to flush it out. But basically, I think I'm going to go with Sarasota. I got to get the current pricing. So I'm going to probably be Sarasota there. Now, if that's the case, we will be moving Bradenton to May 3rd. And that was all also open, okay, for Bradenton. All right. Now you'll see normally this isn't finished because all these are red, but anyway, and then we'll be back our normal weekend at South Florida Collector Fest down there in Lake Worth on March 8th. And then this is a replacement for Kissimmee, which is I'm calling it Con Misfits because that was our let's see, our MegaCon show last year. But this is actually a week before MegaCon, and right now I'm working with either the DoubleTree or another Disney area hotel up to try to. I'm waiting for pricing on that. Okay, and well, what I will say is, I would say, Tony, you're in the minority on that. I like the 2 days too, because I spend the advertising money, and even if we get 50% more on the second day, to me it's worth it. Okay, so I agree with you, but a lot of people that are traveling, and stuff like that, they want the 1 day where they can just drive over down to Bradenton, or drive down to Lake Worth and in and out. That's what they like. And that's what I'm hearing from vendors. But so we are still going to have some 2 days for sure in here. But now, this may end up being a whole weekend. This Orlando show, I just have the date here as that's the weekend that we're going to do it, the 15th. So that may change into a 2-day show, because if it's at the DoubleTree, that's really close to the airport, and so we could have a different guest on Saturday than we do have on Sunday. There's a lot we can do with the DoubleTree that we can't do with the Kissimmee, the Osceola Heritage Park. And so I think that this might be a bigger show. Right now, I just have the date holding there. No, I agree with you on that 100%. I mean, but what I will say is, when you go somewhere else and it's a 2-day show, it's the same thing, right? We just, it doesn't matter what show, whether it's my show or somebody else's show. That's how it is. The Collector Fest, Tampa Collector Fest, we will be in the smaller building for this show that we've been in. This is a little bit earlier than we've done it than we this year. So I'll be, this is in our normal space, the Florida Center. Okay. And then the planned date right now is April 25th, 26th for the North Florida one. That is basically the Jacksonville April show at World Golf Village. We'll be back there. I really love that building. To me, if I want to bring Super RetroCon back, I really think that this is the building for it. I mean, I want to do it here in Lakeland, and I did have this weekend, January 4th, kind of carved out for that, but I just still don't have the right stuff lined up, guys. It's a lot of work for that show, and I'm on a roll with these, and so I will eventually bring that back, but I'm not doing it. It's got to be great. I'm not doing it to where it's not great. So I can't afford another March 23 or whatever. So 24. I can't do it. So anyway, so again, we'll be at Bradenton May 3rd. It would be the plan. That will be when they have the farmers market out there. And then Star Wars, this is something I know that the Osceola Heritage Park has that. So I was thinking maybe putting Star Wars there. This is kind of a work in progress. But we are going to do a Star Wars show. This would be a really good, this is like the Saturday before Memorial Day. So I don't know. I mean, but it is technically Star Wars original weekend, I think, or Empire Strikes Back, would be May 25th, or I think is the weekend that it came out. And then in here will probably be an Orlando show. This is where Avanti would go. And then we also got Ocala that I'd like to put in here. I believe Ocala, and then maybe Orlando in here. And then we'll be in July. We're going to have our big show, the Tampa Toy Con, and we're going to be back at Coral Springs for in the Fort Lauderdale area. And then I'm moving up Lakeland. So this is through July. This is my proposed schedule that I'm working on. I'll say, let me know. You can message me if you want a copy of this. Some of this may change, but a lot of it is pretty close as far as at least the dates go. Okay. Anybody got any questions? Hopefully that wasn't too boring. But this is what I'm working on, guys. Other than, I didn't get the chance to, I spent a lot of time actually going, once Osceola told me, oh no, we don't have any space in March and all this stuff, I kind of freaked out, and I was working on finding another location for March because I want to have plan set up for this weekend when we're at the show. So I wasn't able to get samples out today for Kissimmee, but that will happen tomorrow. I did update the website. So if you go to floridatoyshows.com, you will have all of the current shows that I'm taking vendor space for. I'm going to finalize the Santa gift show with RP funding this week. And then we are going to have some other news on Port St. Lucie and different stuff like that. Okay, let's see. Yes, if you go to the website, let me just check my website here. And actually, I should just show that. So let me go ahead and show that. Now that you've mentioned that, I'm going to go ahead and share. Just in case, if you guys haven't been to the website, it's not a big website, but it is going to change. For the longest time, I didn't update this at all. I just had like a little graphic on here, but this year I update this every week, basically. So whenever we have a show, I change it over. So if you go to the website right now, I mean, this is going to have a lot more stuff on it. It's going to have, like I have a frequently asked questions for vendors. I have, a bunch of other pages that I just haven't put out there. But basically right now, if you scroll down, it'll have the flyer for the current show. It's going to have the current schedule on it that you could download. And then here are all the shows that you can sign up vendor wise. Okay. So you can, that I have currently. Now you'll notice South Florida, I got to go over the map. I might have a couple tables left for that. And then Daytona vendor will be opening back up. It's not up right now, but I just got to look at the cost and make sure that it's the same as I had, because it'll be in a ballroom, not a 10 by 10 like I had originally going to plan. So you can go on here, and I put up the graphics of all the shows that I'm currently taking vendor space for, or the current show, and again the schedule down here. So it is simple, but it does give you a schedule. It does give you access to the tickets. It does give you access to the vendor stuff. So if you go ahead and use that, let me just make sure you're seeing that. Again, it's simple, okay, but it is it's simple, but it is updated every week, okay. So let's see. Yeah, Joel, it probably will be. I'm still figuring that out. I need to, I'm trying to get my major shows kind of filled in there. I mean, I know May is, what we may end up doing, okay, is let me just quit this here and then bring this back. You'll notice there's a gap in here in February. To me, February was the best. February and June were the best Star Wars shows. So as far as attendance goes, I just got to figure out what I'm doing here. But so I'm just trying to get some. It's still in planning, I guess. So sorry, Joel. So I need to work on that. And then, hey, Fears, you're still on vacation. Man, you go on vacations. No, I'm just kidding. All right. Well, hopefully we'll see you soon. All right. Yeah, it is there, Jennifer. But what I did is I had to move the date. So I'll follow up with you on that. Okay. All right. Any other questions you guys got on the show for this weekend? Or, I did send out all the vendors a link to the map and times and all that. We always set up there around 6:30, and it's just there's no day before setup. It's a small room. Anything smaller than 5, the space that we have there, I don't have a day before setup. So anyway, if there are any other questions, appreciate everybody coming out. And let's see. Yeah, no, I think that's it. I don't have any of the stuff that I bought here. It's in the car, in the Hummer still. I bought some stuff this time. All right. Hopefully I hear from Tony on Tampa. If you guys, I'm going to be sending out a link for Tampa tomorrow for people that haven't signed up yet. And that'll be our big last end of the year show, except until the Santa show. All right. Have a good day, guys. We'll see you next week. The same bat time, same bat channel. All right. Have a good evening, guys. Bye now.